Welcome to the stream. Awesome. Yeah, so, Patrick and I have been talking, and basically the purpose of this series together is just going to be to share our knowledge and kind of give you a peek into some of our strategizing and how we build Slashdeve. If you're not familiar with us, my name is Michael, founder of Slashdeve, Patrick, co-founder as well of Slashdeve. And yeah, we're going to kind of try to share what we learn along the way building a software company. And so,
Totally.
yeah.
And the best part about building something like this, Michael, has been that it's been so easy. Like, honestly, like this has been the easiest thing in my life.
Mhm.
Like, it was literally like
If
the
you
other
don't count
day.
all the years of learning how to do it, then
Yeah, if you don't count the years we've aged that we didn't age.
Exactly. Still young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's been a journey for sure. I mean, I think like it's been like the hardest thing has been like preparing yourself for this because like how like you try to prepare yourself, right? Like we went into this, we knew what we wanted to do.
Mhm.
We kind of had ideas of what it would be like as well, but I don't think we quite knew what we were getting into at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, we didn't know how good it was going to be, right?
That I guess, but also like how in certain
Yeah.
moments, right, how bad it can be.
Oh
Hard.
yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
lucky as
It's
well, of
soul
course.
crushing at times,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like it's been a great journey, but at the same time, it's fun to talk about, the pain points and the hard things we went through as well. Trying to get where we are today, which is, we're in a decent position nowadays. We've
Definitely.
accomplished
Yeah,
a
things
lot of things.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, Slash Dev is in a really good spot. I mean, we've been building this thing for several years now, getting it off the ground. And I mean, it's funny thinking back to those early days before we quite knew what we were going to do. We were kind of formulating the ideas of Slash Dev, what it could be, trying a
And
bunch
the
of
ideas
other
before
ideas
slash
that,
dev.
yeah, all those bad ideas that, I
Oh
mean, one
my
of the
god.
biggest things is just, yeah, exactly. One of the biggest things I would say we've learned as professionals is we've gotten so much more practical, I think. Like we have a different standard for what we expect from a business because we've, you always hear it's so hard to start a business. It's hard to start any business, and it's very true. But you need to have a good idea that people will actually pay for and that you have a real distribution strategy for. And so, some of those ideas, they were fun, nice ideas. There was maybe a pain point, but at the
But
end of the day,
they were
Slash Dev
severely
lets us do
lacking in
everything
in
we
in
love.
reality. I feel
Yeah.
like there were such ideas that like you either get funding or it's just you might as well give up already. Like that's
Yeah. Luckily, that was during the time when it was still the kind of meme city with funding everywhere. So we probably could
yes.
have ran with any of those ideas. But yeah.
It definitely would have been possible, but at the same time, I think finding that idea that you can actually start and actually accomplish something right off the gate, right? It's more
Mhm.
fun in a way, I think,
Yeah,
rather than hoping
definitely.
and praying and relying on other people kind of to get to where
Definitely.
you want to go, right?
Definitely. I
Hmm.
think Slash Dev's exactly where we want to be. I mean, we have so much fun with it. We get to perfect our software and technology skills. We get to perfect our marketing skills. It's really everything I could want out of a company.
Yeah,
Um,
truly. I mean,
so
it's a
yeah,
dream,
just
and
got to keep grinding, man. I mean, we have big goals for where we want to go with this thing too. I mean, it's still very early days, so it'll be incredible to see where we're at. I mean, right now where we're at in here, but I mean, 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be really cool to see.
right, and not to mention, everything we're learning, right? And every all the people that we're working with,
Mm-hmm.
it's quite smart people, I gotta say, it's
Definitely.
working together with software engineers, like say what you want about software engineers, nerdy, does weird things sometimes, have weird, hobbies. They're smart people, and they can teach you a lot of things, and sometimes also get on your nerves. But
Yeah.
it's been so fun to have that like interaction with people, interview developers, hear their thoughts about how to build software properly or how to build products even. And yeah, that's what's also I feel is very rewarding with this type of work that we're doing. We're really working together with some really really smart people, and
Yeah, definitely.
and that's
I
always
think I remember being kind of naive when I was younger and thinking that I had to learn everything. I had to learn
fun.
to build everything, to do everything.
Yeah,
And you need to develop this smart ability to learn as much as you need to know. But even with software, the front end is so deep, the back end is so deep, mobile is so deep in the amount of learning you can do and expertise you can build. And so I love that we get to work with these people who are super skilled in mobile development, backend development, front end development, DevOps, machine learning, you name it. And I mean, that's just like the development talent we work with.
yeah,
We also work with awesome designers, rather motion graphics designers. I mean, that's kind of the founding principle of Slash Dev was that you can work with the best people from all over the world. So
exactly. And work together to build a real product, build something
mhm,
real, and build something that can actually be marketable and actually someone is willing to pay for, because at the end of the
mhm,
day it's a business, and I really like that approach that we've taken where we help our clients to achieve that goal, and that we
mhm,
can also be like sometimes clients just want to bounce some ideas. They might not even know what they need or what they want,
mhm,
but they have an idea right in their mind. And then it's up to us to kind of like take what they're telling us and figure out the way, okay, how can we actually make this into a product.
mhm.
I think that's actually one very important aspect as well of being, slash dev and working with slash dev and working for slash dev, of course, is, the ability to take, input from a client and convert that input into the correct output, right? Input output. And
Definitely.
and that's something I see actually people fail on a lot nowadays with, like the client tells you, yeah, it would be really nice on this website to have a bouncy ball in the background, behind the text, and then the text swirls around the ball, and like sure, that would be great, but is that truly what the client wants? No, no. So then you start digging into what the client is actually saying, and maybe try to guide the client into a different way that's not as ridiculous, perhaps is the
Yeah.
word. And
Yeah.
you figure it out for them, because that's also like probably the most important aspect here. It doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
produce, how well you produce it, if what you give the client at the end of the day is not what they needed or wanted.
Yeah. I
So that's
think
the most important feature.
I think clients, both technical and non-technical, founders can over-engineer their MVP. And one really interesting moving target is always when you should build custom versus using no-code builders to get an MVP up. And
Hmm.
that's an interesting one that we kind of see. We see at which point our partners and clients realize they can't use this WordPress site anymore. They can't use this Wix or Webflow site anymore because they need a custom solution so that
Yeah,
they can build all the functionality they need. And then you also see entrepreneurs who want to build some big robust custom system and their idea is pretty wild. It's
very wild. Yeah,
you get some of these ideas where you're like, okay, you should probably test this first before we build this for you. And one thing I think we do a pretty good job at, and I hope we can do a really good job and continue to master, is just being really good partners to
Yeah,
everyone who approaches us, like telling them the truth, telling them the right guidance, telling them, hey, you should do this in no code first and then get back to us, or
exactly.
just giving them the best advice
Hmm.
regardless of what it means if they work with us or not. I think is really important.
Definitely. I think, that honesty part from us is extremely important, and that, we tell them right away if we feel like, hey, we don't think this would be a successful project at this point due to X and Y and Z, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Try that, try to like figure out, get a Google Sheets, like input some information, just, create a form with a form builder, collect the data that you need right now, put that into the sheet and
Yeah,
use, a trigger on it, and, just do the
yeah,
simple steps. You don't need a whole platform for what you're trying to achieve right now, because you don't really
no.
know exactly what you're trying to achieve here.
And
Um,
even when they want to build custom, or they kind of need to, like, I mean, mobile apps, you kind of need to in some ways. There's not great no code
yeah,
solutions
they're
out
very,
there. And so for that, it's like you need to make sure that you get the minimum viable design and you get the right features rolled out. And the crazy thing is, you can still just completely blow up your business if you go with the wrong partner to help you build that. We see lots of agencies that, we get our partners coming to us and saying, yeah, I paid, 100 plus pounds an hour for this, $100 plus an hour for this. And it's crap now and I have to start over. And so that
exactly.
it's crazy how prevalent that is in our industry, where we see there's that big knowledge gap. So few people really understand tech. So there's this huge premium on tech skills and tech services. And I hope that we can provide much more value in that space, because it's really crazy to see what some of these agencies are able to charge, to be honest.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of them also, take advantage of, non-tech founders,
Mm,
for example, that like they take advantage simply by, like selling them a dream that really can't be accomplished the way the
yeah,
founder wants it to be, right? And
mm,
I think that's why, slash dev as well, by us bringing in this honesty and, saying no to a project if we don't feel we can accomplish that and make it a success. Well, I
yeah,
think, in the long run, it's gonna be a huge benefit to us, and I hope,
totally.
and so far our clients seem to see that as well. And
Yeah. Is there
yeah,
any other quick takeaways? I mean, we could probably do a separate one of these on our main
yeah,
lessons we've learned, but is there anything else that's comes to mind from
yes,
getting slash dev off the ground?
yes, do it, man. Start building
Yeah.
and quit your job, and start eating ramen, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just have like, I mean, just really feel in your gut, right, that this actually is able to be a success. I mean, that's simply that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have any fucking doubts in your mind,
Yeah.
it's over.
I I mean, I would say though, like, you can have as much belief as you want, and if
Yeah,
it's a really shitty idea, it's still going to be a really
it doesn't
shitty
matter.
idea. I
Yeah,
mean, really good founding teams can pivot their way into good solutions in a good market, but also, make sure you pick something that's a real winner, because you're going to be grinding, like you said, you're going to be having ramen, you're going to be pushing yourself. I do recommend getting sleep because you're going to produce a lot more.
hmm,
But yeah, make sure that you have a high leverage idea, certainly.
yeah,
Um,
totally. Have it like know the business model, know your competitors, know
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Awesome. I feel like that was a cool little overview of some of the things we've learned. Um, yeah, did you wanna talk about Fear of the Unknown, or do you just want to dive
yeah.
into doing some strategy stuff?
Now we can talk a little bit about this. So, just to like describe a little bit about what I'm talking about. So, I had this call with my old boss at one of the companies I worked at years ago now. But he was, he told me that, so he's been working together with me, right? And then I left after like 6 or 7 years, and then he did employ some of my brothers as well. And what he said is, so last week actually he kind of, texted me and we're like, hey, do you know any friend or anyone that is kind of like similarly minded to me and my brothers? And what
Mm-hmm.
he's picked up on us doing really well, I mean, this is just some like inherent ability maybe or something, is this like we don't have quite the fear of digging into something new, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure people have been in meetings and, everyone is just sitting there discussing like, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? And you get back, yeah, I mean, I haven't really worked with that before. I'm not sure we can do that. I don't think we can do that. And, or like, oh, this wasn't part of my curriculum at school. Like, and it kind of turns into this, like, oh, okay, let's just skip that idea because nobody knows about it, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've always been the way that, like, okay, that seems doable. I'll just figure it out. And,
Mm-hmm.
that ability has kind of been, I guess, one big reason why I've, got to where I am in terms of knowledge of tech and building platforms, building software, um, building anything
Yeah.
really. And so
Yeah.
but you do see that a lot nowadays, that people have this, fear of going outside their zone, their field.
Yeah. I
And
think there's a huge self-confidence issue in what they're capable of doing.
mhm,
I mean, I think most people struggle with that, especially with tech or coding or mathematics or science or chemistry or you
yeah,
name it. There's things that you feel you aren't naturally good at. And that can, in the way that society is built, you often kind of judge yourself immediately rather than just following what you're interested in. So,
exactly.
yeah.
No, but I just think that's such an ability that you kind of need to like get rid of this fear. And especially if if you want to start something on your own, is that like, okay, there's a huge unknown incoming
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, like I said, you can't prepare yourself for everything that's gonna, be coming at you. and
Yeah.
and
And you're
so
going to fail hard too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's, don't
100%.
worry about that. Yeah.
You're gonna find so many
Yeah.
things that oh shit, okay, this was impossible, like we couldn't get this done.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you still need to pull through and like really get into
Yeah.
this like mindset of like, okay, like we can accomplish this. I mean,
Yeah.
do we have any examples of where we have been like lately, like, oh, can we get that done? And we're like, yeah, I think we can. And then we, we Google, we can ask Chat GPT. Like there's a lot of resources nowadays to
Mm-hmm.
like go through and figure out like, okay, that seems doable. And I guess it's a bit similar. So like the way we've done now with our own blog, actually, right? So we were thinking like, okay, we actually created this custom blog system in our
Mm-hmm.
CMS. It worked quite well, but it was quite hard to use. It was like annoying to use as well. And it had this like block structure that like it kind of makes
It was
sense,
like a
but
new product that we had to prioritize maintaining when we have other things to prioritize. So it's
exactly.
just, there's great solutions in the market. So,
Yeah, was that really
yeah.
the right idea though? Probably
Yeah.
not. So what we went back to doing instead, right, was like we were thinking like, okay, why can't we just run like a headless WordPress instance or only the
Mm-hmm.
WordPress backend? Because there's nothing wrong with like a WordPress backend with no plugins and things like that. Generally, it's quite fast enough at least for a blog of our size. And then we create and we just do all the caching in Next, and it will be super
Mm-hmm.
fast, and be able to serve thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands potentially.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think that's just like, okay, simplify the idea, and like, okay, and don't be afraid to pivot away to something else, despite us, pulling several weeks into this project already, or even months. I can't remember how much. But
Yeah.
like we took that, we were like, okay, let's just, axe that one, do the simple solution and the better solution, really.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
didn't
we're
know if it
so
was possible,
spoiled.
but yeah.
We're so spoiled with the internet today, too. I mean,
Hmm.
I remember when I was a kid, I remember like the dial-up noise, like connecting to the internet on like this ghetto giant
Yeah.
plastic box. And like you knew how to use it so much better than your parents. And they just like cannot figure out how to like go to settings. Like still can't. But it's like
No, they still haven't
I
learned.
mean, kind of growing up with those first computers and like, you now like we have so much information at our fingertips. So if you're really good at like researching and seeing what the best people are doing, you can get a really good idea. I mean, a lot of the really juicy information you kind of have to learn by doing.
Yes.
There's a million tutorials on how to get rich, XYZ, but most of them don't really work at the end of
Yeah,
the
how to
day.
get rich,
So
write a tutorial on how to get rich.
yeah, I mean, I
Know.
tried to get rich on ChatGPT last week, and
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but it's kind
didn't
of like,
work.
this almost paradox, right? Like, I mean, okay, so you're a successful trader. You write about how to be a successful trader. You sell a course for $1,000.
Hmm.
If you truly, were doing so well on trading, why would you teach other people, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like creating competitors for yourself. You probably make
yeah,
more money selling, the way to get rich rather than,
yeah.
right?
You really
So,
have to filter through, and you have to find the relevant information. I mean, there's real skills to build too. I mean, there's real
yeah,
skills to build around SEO, around marketing, around content. All of that is deep skills that you can build over years. So there's a lot of good content, but there's
yeah,
a lot of stuff to filter through.
and especially SEO,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think is, and I was thinking we could jump into that.
Yeah. Yeah, we can dive into some SEO strategy. Let's do it. We've been
Yeah.
chatting for a bit about other stuff, but let's do that.
Hmm.
So awesome. Share my screen here.
Yeah. So,
If you haven't been to this website, well, there we go. make sure
yeah,
make sure you check it out. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Cool, man. So what do we want to dive into now? Now the fun starts. We can
Well, I
start
mean,
grinding away.
so I mean, something this week that we've been looking at, right, Michael, is actually using the integrating the ratings from and so we can have a rating
Yeah.
actually in the Google search.
Yeah,
And
that's really cool.
yeah, I thought we could maybe talk a bit about that. I think that's.
Yeah, so this is really fun. I mean,
Mhm.
it's amazing how many things you learn and you're like, did this always exist? How long has this existed? How have I not discovered this? But yeah, let's search for the best places. Let's just do it in our industry. You can't see my search bar with this form of sharing, but
Mhm.
see if any of these guys have figured out the game. Looks like none of these guys have really figured out the game.
No.
Yeah. So these guys, obviously, I mean, everyone knows about this, which
Mhm.
is actually the same type of structured data.
Exactly.
This is just a cool plugin. I have keywords everywhere. It gives you a bunch of cool stuff on websites, on search, domain authority, keywords, etc. But the thing is, actually, in the search, man, none of these guys have figured this out. Actually, it's pretty impressive.
It's quite interesting, especially for like a restaurant business. You would think
I
that.
mean, it was always showing up on top of Google for us before.
Yeah.
Maybe the SEO guys will have it figured out. Yeah, I mean, these guys have it a bit figured out. So here we go.
There we have some
So,
one.
I mean, Google kind of just decides what to display. So it's not that all these guys don't have this figured out. But
Right, exactly.
you see, these guys have this 5-star, and this is actually just structured data within their website that kind of links to their reviews and review count. And obviously, when you're scrolling and you see that 5-star, it makes a big factor in you wanting to click. And so that's something that we're rolling out, tying that in with our reviews. But I mean, the structured data applies to everything too. I mean,
Yeah.
from when you look at the restaurant carousel that we previously saw, having different images, different products, I think I can go to the page actually.
And of course, like we understand that, being, what actually matters on Google is usually being in the top 3, top 5 results, right? That's, the real deal, so to speak. But, like adding the
Exactly.
structured data can help, get that extra click here and there, and keep growing your ranking that way as well by doing that little extra that most people are not doing.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you just, read an overview of the best, like everything you need to know about SEO. Go find the best article on everything A to Z you need to know about SEO and read that first.
Yeah.
Because now you're just going to be hanging out with us while we nitpick stuff that we're working on every week, really. But because there's a lot of stuff we've already done, but it's kind of cool here. So yeah, here you can see that's how like these recipe sites get this stuff up. Google Search Central has a ton of information on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's that page of all the different categories, but it's like I can never find that page by navigating. I had to find it by searching. But it can apply to software apps, products, retail, you name it. They've got a category.
If you expand the feature guides, it's below the one you are on right now. There you go.
Oh, here we go. Perfect.
Yeah. So this is it.
Yeah. So I mean, articles, like we're going to need to definitely add this to our articles as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at that. Breadcrumbs, like what is that? Sounds good. Sounds like we need some of that.
Yeah. So breadcrumbs, right, is where we can add the little breadcrumbs menu below, where like if you, for example, if you would search BBC, right, you would see news, maybe US news, your European news. It will be in like a little breadcrumb just below the search results, and it's super important to have it, especially for like a news site, right? Probably not as important for a site like
that's
ours.
interesting. They call it a breadcrumb, like because within Google Ads, there's obviously site links, and there's kind of a different terminology they use for those.
Well, breadcrumbs, it's like more of a front-end term, I would call it, maybe, or design term, maybe. It's definitely very part of like the front-end education, I guess. It's very specific. You have
jobs. We also need to add this to our jobs for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but when you have this like arrow structure of like, you keep digging down the onion layers or whatever.
Yeah, it looked like breadcrumbs kind of specified the position within the hierarchy, so
yes.
It's a little different. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff though, like videos, the more information like this you can give to search engines, the better it's going to be. And I mean, like,
yeah,
ChatGPT has kind of popped now, and I would say it's not going to replace search. It's going to be a companion with search, because you still want to search around for things. I mean, it's great to have ChatGPT open, especially right now for us with coding and stuff. It's really well trained on that, thanks to all that open source data. But yeah, I mean, search isn't going to go away, and search is a great way for generating traffic. I mean, it's been really good for us, and it's still early days for really our domain authority. So
exactly.
Think, for us, we looked at some of our top competitors, so to say, and the CMO of TopTal was previously their head of SEO. And if you start to look at signs like that, you see how they're doing it, you see how other top players are doing it, and the SEO game is still a huge game to generating traffic for your business.
One of the most important ones, because at some point that organic traffic just generates money without spending any money, basically.
Exactly.
In
I
the
mean, it's
same way that
obviously,
it's like an
sorry.
exponential increase rather than this like linear where on ads you spend more, you get more, but obviously you spend
Yes.
more, right? So
It'll be interesting to see because, we're also pursuing like the more social media and content angles. And I mean, I spend a ton of time on Twitter and YouTube. But it's a harder, like, search is in a way so much easier, I would say. And
yeah,
it's not in the limelight either. Like, social media takes so much attention that everyone focuses there. And I do see more long-term upside there. I see more ability to really connect with your audience, obviously, but search is definitely lower hanging fruit for us right now. I mean, it's a more clear return on our time invested, for
yeah.
sure.
So especially in our type of business as well, okay, I'm a founder looking for a developer now. You kind of don't load up, Instagram, TikTok, or something like that, and think like, okay, oh yeah, I saw an ad for /dev. I mean, maybe that works, but most likely you will start shopping around a bit instead by searching. Okay, who are the
Yeah, I
top
mean,
agencies? Who are the top developers? Top freelancers? You name it,
yeah,
right?
I don't even keep Instagram and stuff on my phone. I just it's so trash most of the time, really. Like,
No,
it's
it's
not helping my evolution. But I mean, it
no.
does have some really cool stuff among the
Hmm.
junk once in a while, and it's just like the short form videos. I mean, it is so much trash, but there's also, I mean, I love like watching like cool snowboarding clips or fails on there. That's always great. But like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's
man.
fun. Yeah. No, but
I think,
it's the problem is, it kind of takes your focus away a little bit the more you spend
oh
time
yeah,
on it.
totally,
And
totally. I mean,
yeah,
if it's me, it's not on my phone, so then I have to like seek it out, which means I'm kind of like committing to dedicating some time to like just
exactly.
relaxing. But then the weird thing is we have this incentive as a business because our short form content gets so much more organic reach than, let's say, a tweet or an article or this video or anything. I mean, we will get thousands and thousands of impressions on a short form video just because there's so many people on there. They're
Hmm.
consuming so much content, and they're
Exactly.
consuming, I mean, Twitter is really hard because you're consuming from who you follow mostly. And then there's obviously the discover, but that's it's not really emerging accounts. It's established accounts that you're
Established
seeing.
accounts, exactly.
Yeah,
So you're
exactly.
not really gonna, get reach through that.
No.
Instead, you would need to run either ads or, get get the traffic from other channels, basically.
Hmm. What would you say is our best marketing channel outside of, if we're not looking at SEO? What are you most excited about if we're talking like other social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter,
I think it's
long
actually,
form podcast? What do you think?
I actually think right now, for some reason, I definitely like these third-party platforms a lot. And what I mean by third-party platforms is, directories,
Yeah,
right? Where they kind of, they list your business. We can add our profile. We can make a nice, profile for us, explain what we're doing, who we
that's
are.
for sure, like in the SEO category, I would say.
Exactly,
Well,
and
at
that
least
ties
in
into
terms of
SEO,
my hierarchy of like what's valuable.
right?
That one's like, I mean, that one made our quarterly goals, where like
Yeah,
we gotta crush it on all of our profiles on these directories. Because if you
Totally.
look at a lot of searches like top developers, top XYZ, especially B2B services,
Hmm.
it's things like Clutch, it's things like the Manifest, it's things like G2 that aggregate these providers. So it's,
Exactly.
yeah.
And,
So
and those
then
are
to
just
ask
so
you the
big.
same question, if you were to cut that one out, I'm more curious because those we kind of know, right? But I'm more
Hmm.
curious. I mean, you could make the argument on short form video because of the organic reach, but curious what you think.
I mean, short form videos, yes, I believe it's stronger. It's definitely stronger um, than than longer form
So
videos.
we got Twitter, we got like long
Yeah.
form video slash,
Do we include our
this type
own
of content
do we
pod.
include our
Yeah.
own blog, or is that like outside? I guess that's outside this
I mean,
section.
technically, like the videos getting added to the blog helps, but I'm more
Yeah.
curious about the stuff that we're not sure about. We know the blog is good. We
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
produces a
yeah.
good return.
But
I
no, I
think,
mean definitely the short form ones then.
yeah, it's true. I mean, I would love it to be, I would love it to be long form. I would love it to be Twitter because
Hmm.
that's where I spend my time, and that's where I think
Same.
there's more credibility. I would say, like, I think long term, that's my feeling is that's where a lot of good buyers actually would, develop credibility, learning from us and engaging with us, hanging out with us there. But it's so hard to argue with the reach that short form video gets us.
Exactly. No, for sure. I mean, Twitter, I think, has the highest potential to reach the people we want to reach, but it is also by far, I think, the hardest platform to actually reach people on in that sense, to get that reach somehow.
Yeah, man, I've
Uh,
been posting fire memes and getting 0 likes. So
yeah, you
no.
don't get organic traffic. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's absolutely ridiculous.
So let's check out the top. So top article on YouTube Shorts growth tips. Let's see what we got here. Because yeah, we agree that contrary to our personal desires on what we want to
Hmm.
engage with, this clearly gets us really good reach and helps to build our brand, and that's what we're trying to do as we build our brand and focus as entrepreneurs and marketers. So, I mean, it helps to give a little bit of context. We aren't super far into our shorts and short form content strategy. A couple things we've been trying. One is trying to just give brief overviews of technology and quick explanations on what different technologies are, which I think is nice content. It helps build the brand. It does pretty well. It's not crazy viral. There are definitely accounts with 1 million+ subscribers doing very similar stuff that we've
Oh
seen,
yeah.
so we know it works. And then, of course, we've been doing shorts of well-known entrepreneurs and their best advice, which is great content, more viral. Um, yeah, so that's a little bit of
And
what we're doing already.
simpler to produce, basically, in general, at least.
Yeah,
Um, I mean,
I'm
and
not sure if it builds the same authority
audience.
and yeah,
Yeah,
exactly the same audience, the same. I mean, technically, we have two core target audiences, so to say. We have the developers and the engineers, and then we have the entrepreneurs and the founders and the software companies. So, our
exactly.
talent and our partners.
Hmm.
And, the partners are the real area where we want to focus on. That's the hard part of any business, of course, is finding more partners, more clients. All right, so what do we got here? A little bit of an
But at the same
intro.
time, like you could argue, right, that for most of our partners, right, and clients, one of the hardest things for them is actually to find a great developer, especially in today's
Oh
climate.
yeah. Oh yeah. I
So,
mean, we no doubt have great value. So
mhm,
if we can just get in front of enough people,
yeah,
I think we can really, easily show them the value and really please them. By the way, this is kind of a nice exit intent, or it's not an exit intent, but it was just a pop up. But I like the
yeah,
transparency behind these elements and how they have a little bit of a 3D feel.
yeah. It actually looks quite
It's
good.
it's, it's kind of fun. I'm gonna snag
Yeah,
it.
should save it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. This looks like, oh wow, they hit me with another. Look at that. These guys, okay, now I kind of lost trust in this website actually.
Yeah,
And I mean, these guys won the SEO game, so they're doing something right, but their advice is terrible. I mean, don't post long form content if you want to make a short. Like, what?
yeah. I mean,
Titles that count, make valuable shorts. Like, this is
yeah.
nothing.
I mean, it's basically they're saying stuff that means nothing or is
And they've got an
completely obvious.
FAQ, and then they
Yeah.
probably have good footer links. I
Hmm.
mean, curious about this. It's funny to see someone that's, I mean, usually the first content is pretty decent. Maybe I needed to search for like the ultimate guide or something like that to really. I'm curious if they have. So here's, no, that's not
Now
their
that you
structure
know
data
all the
either.
tips and tricks, you can easily use
No.
YouTube Shorts and give a
Oh,
massive
you
boost.
actually, you can't see that I have DevTools open right now. That was
No,
interesting. I didn't notice that. I was checking
can
out
only
their
see the tab.
tags.
Yeah.
And it's interesting though, because these guys, they've got this image that looks great. That could
Hmm.
be a big reason why Google. I do want to kind of dig into this just a little bit more before we wrap up, see if we
Hmm.
can get any good advice. Because I do want to know, when you look at really good content, they have like super good B-roll. That's something that I see is a lot of these guys are talking about how they make a point and then they have an excellent video to go right along with that. I mean, that's definitely something we could try. I just can't imagine these 6 exciting content. Yes, of course. I think it's probably a better strategy to just watch really good ones than to read about it, honestly.
It is. It is. And then
Yeah.
basically, kind of figure out, okay, what is like the actual red line between all these different content creators that create shorts? Like what is the actual like similarities that they are all doing?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and why, of course. We gotta always answer the why. Why are they doing that? Because if we don't understand the why, I don't think we can replicate it properly. Um,
Got it. I
yeah.
think it was my VPN that actually dropped us, so that's why.
I
I'll just
see.
not do that in the future.
Hmm.
But cool. Yeah, maybe we should start to gather some of those notes in the future on the short form stuff. I mean, it would be fun to talk more about this because there's a lot of the same stuff that we can keep doing, but I think it's important we always improve, and we do a pretty good job at
Oh
trying to
yeah.
always do that. But that's one thing I think we do well, and that founders need to really try to do well is always be improving. So we have pretty good short form content, but what do we need to do to get a little further and further and further?
Exactly.
So
And like I think one mistake that we've been doing as well is like trying to think always like, oh, how do we like what else can we do? What else can we do? Instead of be like, okay, how can we
yeah,
just improve our existing,
definitely. Yeah. I
infrastructure?
mean, we've had chats about that for
Yeah, so
sure. I
many
mean,
times. So yeah.
definitely. And every week it's like a new idea comes up, and like, I mean, I definitely experience that a lot because I'm focused so much on the growth and marketing that I see like, all right, I have my priorities. I need to like sync with Patrick so that he knows where we're at. And then we need to find ways to where you can drive ideas that you have, but also to where you have your own growth and marketing priorities. And I
Mhm.
think we've done a really good job at that, more so than we did at the start.
We're we've definitely improved a lot there, and
Um,
from where we were.
I think
That's,
that's really a big trick, is focusing more on improving what works.
yeah,
If you just focus on like making your website amazing, making your SEO amazing, and then try to master this really hard game, which is content, then you're doing well. And that's a lot of work to do those three things. I mean, content is so deep. It takes reps
yeah.
to